Welcome to the Annie Jennings PR Real Stories of Success podcast series. Annie Jennings is the creator of the most powerful radio campaign in the country, where you are booked on high-impact shows in top markets, as well as the national television, print, and online media performance program, where she offers guaranteed deliverables. My name is Stacey Amaral Kaufman. I'm the radio director for Annie. Today we're sharing another real story of success to give listeners an inside look into what it's like to work with Annie Jennings PR. And today's guest is JoJo Dries, workplace speaker and author of The Lotus, How I Beat the Patriarchy. And through Annie Jennings PR's 8 radio interview campaign, she was heard on 30 stations across the country, including top shows in Boston, San Francisco, San Diego, Detroit, Sacramento, Cincinnati, and on big media brands such as iHeart. So welcome, JoJo. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Stacey, for having me on. I'm honored to be here today.
So let's talk about, for you personally, what was it like choosing a publicist, and how did the trust factor play into your decision?
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me on, Stacey. Essentially, so I come from the PR background. So I had a PR company many years ago. So when I was looking for a PR agency to represent myself and my brand in this book, and the message I really wanted to get out to the country, it was a very hard decision for me because, for me it was like, was anyone ever going to be good enough to match the goals and objectives that I had set for myself? And I had a very high standard of what I wanted the campaign to look like, who I wanted to reach, and the message and branding I wanted to get across. So I started my research, and just I released the book even before I chose a PR company because it still wasn't comfortable. And one day I came across your website and actually was just completely blown away by the guarantee of the PR campaign that you offer. So I was impressed by 2 major things on your website. The first was the headshots and the just the professionalism, I guess, of where your clients were coming from. So it wasn't like you were representing, some podunk type of, clientele. You had a very good, reputation of who you were representing. The website itself was very professional, and then Annie's sort of message to her clients was very genuine. So I was very blown away by the website, its authenticity, as well as just how professional it looked and so forth. And then the guarantee of, me getting 8 guaranteed radio interviews and that whole PR campaign that you implemented for me. At first, I thought it was like, they're over-promising, they'll under-deliver. But then the more I researched, the more I saw the reviews of your services, the more I realized, wow, these people are going to stand behind their word. And so that's how I chose you. And it was a very easy decision. So what had started as a very difficult decision for me became a very easy one. And then when I sent the email inquiring, heard back from Annie herself, and her right hand, and just the communication right from the get-go was, again, over and beyond what I would expect from a large PR firm that has that guarantee and has the connections you all have. And then the communication from there with you and Jason and just the whole team, I was just completely blown away from the get-go. Again, as a business owner for many years, the goal is to under-promise and over-deliver, and you guys did that in spades.
Well, you mentioned Annie and being genuine on the website, and then hearing back from Annie herself as well when you initially contacted us. And so tell us a little bit about that call with her, how she took time, whether or not you felt as if she truly understood your goals and message. And as you mentioned, you did mention this, of course, already, the guarantee there and over-delivering on that.
Absolutely. The genuineness came through very clearly right from the get-go. So first the email response and then the phone call the same day. And I think what struck me the most in that conversation was how she was speaking the word, like she'd never met me before. So, of course, I chose you all sight unseen. I mean, never met Annie face to face. And so, her being able to communicate my message back to me, even just from, reading my website, looking at my materials that I had sent in the email, right away told me, this was a professional firm that was going to be able to get my message across. And so it wasn't, when I choose somebody, like if I choose a doctor, I don't want to go tell the doctor, this is how you do the surgery. Like I want the doctor to be the expert in the surgery and, be able to pinpoint my problem and my solution. And that's what she did right from the get-go. And she wasn't, so there's a lot of, flashy PR firms out there that, want to send you all these graphs and charts and this and that. And she wasn't flashy. She was just very matter of fact. It was like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. We have the connections. And it was just this very sort of confident, it exuded this confidence that I was looking for in my campaign. And to top it off, she's a woman and you're a woman. And I think that was a big, part of my decision as well with my message of empowering females across the country, was I wanted a female-owned business, that was handling it like a boss. And, so that's what you did.
That's
and then
true.
as far as
I mean,
it was
that.
a big, yeah, you did. You guys both handled it like a boss. And I'm sorry, but it's like, I have such high respect for that. And I've been in business long enough to see the shady ones, to see the ones that are, to see through the flashiness of, oh my God, we're going to do all this for you. And then in the end, you end up spending a shit ton of money and you get nothing back, for it. But you feel good, because I spent all this money or whatnot. So for me, there was this guaranteed fee that I was going to spend. There was a guaranteed number that I was going to get back out of it. And then not only that, but the if you didn't get those things, I don't know, the guarantee that if you didn't get those interviews, you were going to give me my money back. So you were willing to stand behind your word enough to say that, hey, if we don't get you these 8, then you're going to get that portion back. We're going to prorate that back to you, whatever you don't get. And then going into the campaign, I said, I asked you guys, I said, well, let's go back to a moment of the training. So again, coming from the PR background, I felt like, I know what I'm doing. I can speak to the media. I'll take this training because it comes with the package. But then again, Jason blew me away with, quotes that I could use, transition phrases, then sent me a follow-up email again with all of that as a follow-up as sort of my homework, told me to write things down, told me what the producers and editors and so forth were looking for. And then, yes, you over-delivered on the actual, radio shows. First of all, I didn't have to tell you what my message was. You were sending me emails, saying this is what's happening in the media. This is the, hot news that's happening right now. And is that something you can speak on based on your messaging? And certainly it was. And so you started lining up those interviews right from the get-go. I mean, we hit the ground running, and then there were follow-up interviews on the interviews, which I was blown away at. I really appreciated you set me up with not only the initial one, but then the follow-up as well, which gave me even more than gave me more bang for my buck. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And of course, you get follow-up interviews because you're a great guest. And, the radio shows won't necessarily say, hey, let's have you back to talk about your book specifically, or talk about this, or talk about that, unless you delivered the goods. And of course, you did that, and you mentioned the training, you mentioned how that helped and enhanced your experience. And overall, you've been talking a lot about, of course, how everything was so great, but in terms of the day-to-day work with us at the radio division, do you feel like you were completely supported in doing the interviews and getting copies of the interviews, and just kind of like the nuts and bolts of the radio campaign itself?
Absolutely. I think that, when you're looking at a business or when you're looking at somebody who you're going to use as a vendor or a business partner to work together with you on your team, you want that to be seamless. You want it to just flow seamlessly. Like, it's not like, oh, I hired them and they're just like this arm that's kind of out there. You want it to flow seamlessly with your team that's already in place. And for me, that's how I felt. I felt it was a very seamless process, like just had integrated with me, with my schedule, with the way that I am able to communicate, with my busyness and going here, there, and everywhere. That ability to be able to communicate with you and in a timely manner, right? So if you needed me, I was available, and if I needed you, you were immediately available, which also blew me away, because when you're talking about a PR vision and a PR team, generally it's like these time blocks, like you can only access them at a certain time. Whereas for me as a business owner, and it being so personal, it's not like I'm running this for a different division. This is me. This is representing my personal brand. I needed to feel as though that person or that PR firm that I hired was with me every step of the way. And yes, whether it was I needed you or Jason or whoever I needed, or Annie, you guys were always there. And that, I think, that also blew me away, because in this day and age, when you're trying to work with somebody, it's like pulling teeth sometimes with communication. And for me, communication is of utmost importance. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And that it goes both ways. Just like you said, a great client is available. They do want to make themselves open on their schedule for these radio shows. And you did that very well yourself. So that was awesome. So finally, JoJo, just one last question. We always ask everybody this. What would you say to somebody who is thinking of signing on with Annie?
People are blown away, by the way. Like, my network is like constantly blowing up, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. Like, it's definitely, paid me back as far as, the reputation I needed to have, as an established author. So that was great. Well, I've already sent a couple of people your way, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if they've called you yet, and I'm not sure if they're ready in their business right now to make that investment. I was definitely ripe and ready for that. I would say to people that are doing their research, especially having sat in your seat before and having had a huge success for my PR clients, that you are the real deal. This is not some joke out there. They are going to get you those interviews. They're going to make an effect on your business, on your bottom line. If you're looking for a legitimate PR campaign that's going to give you above and beyond, the goals and objectives that you're going to set for yourself as far as PR is concerned, this is the team to go with. So I would absolutely 100% refer you and recommend you.
All right, JoJo. Well, thank you so much again for sharing your story. And I want to tell our listeners, of course, that you can learn much more about JoJo Dries and her book, The Lotus, How I Beat the Patriarchy, on her website, which is jojodries.com. That's JoJodries, jojodries.com. Thanks again, JoJo.
Thanks, Stacey, for having me.
And this podcast is presented by Annie Jennings of the national publicity firm Annie Jennings PR. For more information how you too can experience the national media success and guaranteed deliverables, please visit AnnieJenningsPR.com. Till next time.